la la, la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Sing it with me. La 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 la. La 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 bonga la. Singing la la la. Ya la 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 la. One more time, fill it with that. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Give me more. Singing ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Wonderful to see everyone. I hope that anyone who came early didn't get too inconvenienced by that large piece of machinery that was just kind of dropped off in our parking lot without any rhyme or reason. You get stuck by it?
No, he just got
Yeah. You ever seen anyone like drive one of those? Yeah,
Thanks God.
What?
Thanks
Exactly,
God.
It was supposed to get out of here at like 3 o'clock, right? Who knows? Anyway.
Don't even get me started.
You know what? You'll find out. If you come to services in Temple Bethel early, it is amazing what you will find out. It's great to be here tonight to celebrate our musical Shabbat service. Great to have the full complement of the band, the Moody Jews, here tonight. Thank you for lifting us up with your music and the sound and the energy here. We've got our team choir here, Hannah and Jordan. This is the first stop in I think a 3-stop weekend. This is the youth choir weekend, so a lot of the younger kids are already in San Diego. Jordan, Hannah, Cantor Davidson, and Grant will be joining them right after services. And they'll have a whirlwind tour of San Diego and environs. So it's great
Absolutely.
to have you guys here tonight to kick off youth choir weekend. But really, we're just here to lift up our voices, to pray, to sing, to be with one another. But before we do, we have to bring in Shabbos. I'd like to invite Sharon Siegelman to lead us in the bracha. And everything will be on the screens behind us. What would I do without my people out there?
That's okay.
And that part I got that.
Helping down is never a problem. We're all here.
Okay, so we're on page 120.
Or on the screen.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generation of Israel who kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.
I invite you to please stand if you are able as we join together in singing Kiddush.
Baruch Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nitshanu b'mitzvotav ve'asavanu v'shabbat kodsho ve'ahav ratzon v'nchilanu zikaron le'maseh bereishit kivuyon techilah le'mikraye kodesh zecher le'tziyat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'beratzon hidchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat. Amen. L'chaim.
Before we continue, just take a moment to greet the person nearby and extend a hand of welcome and friendship to an unfamiliar face.
Okay. Shabbat shalom.
We can take our seats. How good and pleasant it is when we all come together. Hine ma tov. Let's raise our voices.
How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day.
My pits.
Hine mato umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day.
E-O.
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 E-O. Achim gam yachad. Hine mato umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. E-O. 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 How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Hine mato umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day.
Gadol Adonai, Melech Gadol Al Kol Elohim. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai, Nariya letzur Isheinu.
You know what that version needs? More cowbell.
More cowbell.
Wait, no.
I've got one back there.
You know,
don't ask me where.
I'm looking like stone-faced. Anybody get that reference? If you get the reference for more cowbell, please raise your hand. Okay. One, thank you. 1, 2.
We got 2.
1, 2, there you go. The rest of you, after Shabbos, 3, go on YouTube, go and look up more cowbell, and you'll see, yes, the funniest skit in the history of Saturday Night Live and why we need more cowbell in this.
Quintessential.
Right.
Saturday Night Live.
Right. Because I wonder if when the Kabbalists were going out in the fields to welcome Shabbat, did they take a cowbell and cymbals and try to bring Shabbat in? They might have done it on Shabbos morning with hallelujah and lute and drum and string, but I think that on Kabbalat Shabbat, how's that for a segue? They just went out into the fields in northern Israel, looked down to the beauty of their natural surroundings, saw the sun setting over the hills to welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst. And that model that they established hundreds of years ago was written into this poem, Lecha Dodi, that week in, week out, we continue to sing, lift our voices, share as we welcome the Sabbath bride in. So as usual, we'll sing the first 3 verses together, and then at the 4th verse, we'll welcome her in symbolically as we face the door.
Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, ya la la la, likrat kala, ya la la la, v'nei Shabbat nekabela, ya la la la, Lecha Dodi, ya la la la, likrat kala, ya la 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 B'nai Shabbat Neka Bella Shamor Mezachor B'dibur Echad Ishmianu El HaMilvad Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad L'Shem U'Tiferet Yalla la la l'echad dodi, yalla la la l'ikrat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat neka bella. Yalla la la l'echad dodi, yalla la la l'ikrat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat neka bella. L'ikrat Shabbat elchu ne'elcha, bihi mekor ha'melacha. Yalla la la l'echad dodi, yalla la la l'ikrat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat neka bella. Yalla la la l'echad dodi, yalla la la l'ikrat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat neka bella. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ma'onem, uri ori, uri uri, shir daveri, kivod Adonai, alayim le'lam. Yalla la la l'echad dodi, yalla la la l'ikrat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat neka bella. Yalla la la l'echad dodi, yalla la la l'ikrat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat neka bella.
Please stand and greet the sound of pride.
Ori v'shalom ba'ala. God Yalla la Israeli. Mikalo Hanedar Bakodesh, Mikalo Hanedar Bakodesh.
As we prepare for our nighttime prayer, we invite God's presence to surround us with the Sukkot Shalom, canopy of peace, offering us that protection and security that we need throughout the night to make it to tomorrow with confidence and reassurance that all will still be good. We'll join together, the words on the screen.
Understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashivenu, Leshalom. Dehamidenu, Shoreinu Lechai. Uros Aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha. Ashivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashivenu, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. V'shachru Elkei Yisrael et Hashama Na'asot et Hashama
Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav teaches, speech has a great power to awaken a person spiritually. Address God in your own words. Compose your own prayers. Doing this will draw forth your soul and stir your mind to connect more closely to God. The way that we pray the Amidah, the central blessing for the Shabbat service, is pretty much in silence. We'll enter in together with the words on the screen. Afterwards, you can simply compose your own words that come from the heart. Or if it's more comfortable to have your eyes on the prayer in the book, the Siddur, you can just follow along at your own pace on pages 166 through 181. I invite you to please stand if you're able as we enter in together. Be seated only when your own personal prayer is complete. Please pray silently.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך עשית לעולם שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם כי אתה מלך אדום לכל השלום 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 שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל 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 בכל עת ובכל שעה בכל עת ובכל שעה בכל עת ובכל שעה נשלומך שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל המברך את עמו ישראל
Take a few moments now to offer Mishabara Kurukula, prayer for all who are in need of healing. In our community this week, many people who are normally here Friday night are not here because they are in need of healing, recovering from illness, and they are in need of our prayers of strength and illness wholeness. Before we sing together the words of Mishabara, if you'd like to stand or get my attention and share aloud the name or names of those with whom you are praying. Stand and share them.
Helene Morton Goldberg and Sarah Herman.
Barbara Berkman, Pat and Cyril Wade, Tamara Davidson.
Barbara Berkman, Debbie Rowe, and both my grandmas. And I think that's it.
Sheila Rice and Black, Barbara Berkman, Debbie Rowe, Barbara Berkman, Mark Davidson, Pat and Cyril Wade. All those that we can't mention.
So normally don't offer little updates, but especially for so many of those folks who are here regularly. So I did speak to Sid this afternoon. Barbara, I believe, is coming home tomorrow. Still battling pneumonia, and we'll have a long recovery. But from what I understand, I'm getting mixed messages whether calls or visits are okay or not. I'm not exactly sure, so I want to call first, but he's going to be able to take a lot more recovery. So I'm sure that visits and calls will be nice. Spoke to Linda and Marty yesterday. Marty is back home, still fairly weak, trying to get his strength back. Spoke to, yeah?
Marty's back in the hospital.
Thank you. So that I did not know. Did speak to Elaine Black earlier a couple days ago. She's home with recovery, feeling better, she's doing well. Debbie had her finally had her hip replaced. Okay, so she is now home recovering. The pain that she has is from the physical therapist and not from the dad. So she's back on her feet and just sort of walking around with fullness of strength of hip and feet and whatnot in the next couple of weeks. So for all those names, many names, those whose names she holds in our hearts, we pray together.
Blessed are you, God, whose healing presence is with all those who are in need. And we all say, Amen.
The double portion this week of Parshat Tazri and Mitzorah describe how a person who has tzara'at, this scaly skin affliction, is both diagnosed and welcomed back into the community. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the medical details of this particular portion, but wanted to share a connection through a story to how we come to understand how one might contract this. Our rabbis teach us that this disease, this affliction of tzara'at, this scaly skin disease, is the result of lashon hara, of gossip. And there are two sources in the Torah that speaks to this. One is when God called out to Moshe at the burning bush and told Moses to go take the Israelites out of Egypt and to take them out of Egypt, out of their bondage, that Moses had complained about the behavior of the Israelites. And because he spoke badly of them, God told him to put his hand into his chest, come out. It was covered with the scaly affliction. He put it back in. It was cleared. Because Moses spoke badly about the Israelites, that was one example of that. The next example happens later through the wandering through the desert, when it said that Miriam and Aaron spoke poorly about Moses. They had spoken some gossip, some lashon hara, making nasty comments about his wife. And because of that, Miriam, not Aaron, that's a whole other story, but Miriam was also afflicted with this tzara'at, this scaly skin affliction, and it went away after Moses prayed the words that we just shared before, El na rafana la, oh God, please heal her. So it's for those two reasons that the idea of gossip and speaking badly about someone is connected to this scaly skin affliction called tzara'at. So there's a story about a shopkeeper who spoke very wickedly about a man named Shmuel Hanagid. So Shmuel Hanagid lived in Spain during the Golden Age when life for Jews was very good. They lived under the rule of local Muslim leaders in Spain, and Shmuel Hanagid held a very high position. In fact, he was one of the top advisors to the king. Now, this Jew, Shmuel Hanagid, because of his presence, because of his role, he attracted a lot of attention. In fact, a lot of people were very envious of him, and they spoke poorly about him to other people. They spread a lot of malicious gossip. Some said that he was giving bad advice to the king. Others said that he wasn't giving very good advice at all. Some said that he was only concerned about the welfare of the Jews and not about everybody else. And throughout the community, many people just spoke badly of him. But none spoke as badly about him as a particular shopkeeper. In fact, every day when Shmuel Hanagid was going from his home to the court of the king, he would pass this one shop, and the shopkeeper would come out and yell and say the most nasty things to Shmuel Hanagid, insulting him, saying awful things, repeating all the gossip that he had heard, inflaming his negative sentiments towards him. But each day, Shmuel Hanagid reported himself, never said anything back, just went about doing his business. Well, one day, Shmuel Hanagid is taking a walk with the king. And they walk by the house, by the shopkeeper's store, and the shopkeeper comes out and starts yelling this mean and nasty things to Shmuel Hanagid, not realizing that the king was right next to him. The king heard these nasty things he was saying, told his guards, lock up that man, send him to prison until I decide what to do. The shopkeeper was stunned. He was terrified. He went into prison imagining what the king would do to him. He thought that he might leave him in prison for the rest of his life. He thought that he might cut out his tongue because of the bad things that he said. And he wept and he cried in prison, not knowing what was going to happen to him. Well, a couple days later, the king asked Shmuel Hanagid, this man who insulted you so much, what punishment would you like me to pronounce upon him? What would you like me to do to him? And Shmuel Hanagid, when he was given the opportunity to deliver the punishment, he said simply, release him. Release him. Now the king couldn't understand this. Why? This person was insulting me day after day for all these years. Why in the world would you want to release him? He's finally had the chance to punish him for all that he said. To which Shmuel Hanagid in his wisdom replied, in order for forgiveness to happen, someone has to be able to forgive. In order for forgiveness to happen, someone has to be able to forgive. If I were to carry out this punishment of cutting out his tongue, all it would do was lift up all these negative things that he said about me, and he would hate me even worse, and he wouldn't even be able to ask for forgiveness. Well, the king didn't agree with what Shmuel Hanagid said, but nevertheless, he released the shopkeeper. And when the shopkeeper heard that Shmuel Hanagid had asked him to be released, he was overjoyed. He couldn't believe his good fortune. And so the next day, when Shmuel Hanagid was walking to the king's palace, he walked by the house by the store of the shopkeeper. And the shopkeeper came out of his store, and instead of yelling nasty, terrible things to him, he shared words of praise, words of thanks, sharing all of the good things and all the good ways that Shmuel Hanagid is leading and helping the king and helping this community. A little bit later, when the king and Shmuel Hanagid were talking, the king realized once again the wisdom of Shmuel Hanagid. He said to him, I would have cut out his tongue. That is the way that I would have dealt with the way he was treating you. But you, once again, Shmuel Hanagid, you have shown me the wisdom of the Jewish people. You have shown me your wisdom, because forgiveness and being able to forgive is much more important and much more valuable in carrying out a punishment like that. What Shmuel Hanagid was able to do was take words of curse and words that were so negative and so dispiriting and turn them into words of praise. That's really one of our goals. We all know that there are times when we will speak negatively or poorly about someone. It is the nature of humankind. Anyone who reads Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, read his piece from this week, he talks about that institutions, even synagogues, believe it or not, are held together because of Lashon Hara, because of gossip. It is a very interesting thing. But he also combats that and obeys that by inviting us and asking us to share words of praise. So when you have an opportunity to share words of praise or blessing, go that direction. Yes, the Lashon Hara and negative talk is going to happen too. But let's try to counterbalance that with words of praise and find the ability to praise and to forgive and to be gentle with one another. Shabbat shalom. So before we continue, So we have a very special presentation tonight. Carol Leventhal, our president of Sisterhood, is going to share some words and offer a very special presentation to Kathy Mayer. Kathy, will you please join us on the bima? Carol's going to tell you more about the specific honor that Kathy is getting, but what I can just share is just how fortunate and blessed I feel to have a wonderful partner for so much of the work that we do with the ritual life of this congregation, but especially the ways, and maybe many of you don't know about the way that Kathy has supported our teens and our youth through our youth programs, through some extraordinary generous support over the years. And I am so thrilled that you are receiving this award, this recognition for your contributions, for your generosity. I know this is not exactly the most comfortable place for you to be recognized this way, but sometimes things like this just must be done. So, Kathy, we're so grateful that you are here to join with us tonight, and for Carol to be able to share these words in this presentation. And Kathy, why don't you come on up and...
Yes, I'd like to share words of praise.
Please.
So, the WRJ, Women of Reformed Judaism, empowers me to present this special pin, which is an award for achieving a lifeline, a golden lifeline, for the YES Fund. Let me tell you a little bit about the YES Fund. YES stands for Youth, Education, and Special Projects. Those special projects and the education funds fund NIFTY. They fund the education of cantors and rabbis. They fund very special kinds of scholarships. And they sponsor advocacy for social action. So the YES Fund, we have a luncheon every year, generally in January. It's called the Circle of Service. And that is one of the ways that we fund the YES Fund. But in addition to that, there are individuals such as Kathy who make a special pledge month after month, year after year, and achieve a lifeline. I would like to present this pin, which symbolizes this lifeline. It's a beautiful pin of gold. Kathy?
Thank you.
This is the box that it goes in. So we're so proud that we have such a special member.
Thank you.
And Women for Reformed Judaism thanks you. Our congregation and our sisterhood all thank you. I will have brochures of the YES Fund available for you, and they will be, where, on the back table?
Let's do it at the Onig where we're happy because we're eating. So I've got a few as well.
Okay, I have a whole stack.
Okay, so there's no excuse.
Right.
I'd like to say just a couple words.
Yes, please do.
Okay, thank you very, very much for presenting this, and thank you for your good words, Rabbi. I've been asked how this was accomplished. I started out with what they call a silver lifeline. And Carol mentioned the luncheon that we had in the spring, and we do that every year. Somebody is generous enough to open up their house. We have a delightful lunch, and we make a nice little donation, which includes lunch. And one of the things that has got me very interested is those of you that know me know that there's a certain segment of the community that I feel is so, so important to us. Usually at that luncheon, we have a student rabbi talk to us. And these are young people, usually in their 20s. And those of you that know me really well, you know that I am really concerned about the people, once they go through bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, and we get to confirmation. And as Rabbi will tell you, I think confirmation is one of the most important things we do. And then they're going off to college. And sometimes we don't see them, or sometimes they feel they don't have any place to go. But when I saw these young people that are going to be the rabbis of the future, something said to me, Kathy, you're going to support this. This is in the realm that is important to you. And so every year I have watched and listened. And the thing that really, really amazed me was the backgrounds they come from. I mean, you think somebody must have become a rabbi. Oh, they must have come from a nice Jewish household, a wonderful family, well-educated, etc., etc. but so many of them, I listen to them, I've been doing this for many years, some of the backgrounds you'd figure, how did they get to be a student rabbi? I can remember one or two of them that they said they didn't even know what it was to be a Jew. Their family didn't consider much, but somehow or another they were led to it. And so I felt I need to do something. How do I get the lifeline? You have the opportunity, you can either pay for it in full. I'm sorry, this gal's not able to do it. But you can do it on a monthly basis. So I figured, okay, on a monthly basis, I'm going to get that silver one. So, however long it took, I get the silver pin. About a month later, it's like, this is WRJ, yes, fund, yes. Oh, we're so glad you did the silver lifeline. How about the gold one? And I said, I don't think I could afford this. And I said, you know, that's a lot of money. Then she explained to me, she says, you don't have to start from the beginning, you just add on. And then she said, because you're very excited about this, she says, we're not going to up the monthly payment. So folks, it's taken a long time. I had no idea when it was going to finish. And suddenly, last November, I think it was, I get this phone call, and this lady is very excited. She says, you did it. And I thought, oh dear, Kathy, what have you done now? She says, you've completed the gold lifeline. I tell you, I just, whew. All I can say is thank you, dear God, you let me do these things. And so the long and the short of it, I was asked, would I like the Sisterhood president to award this to me, to pin me? So I called Carol. Carol said, of course. I said, Carol, please call. And so here I am. I'm very happy to have done this. Folks, if you're really passionate about something, do something about it, even if it's in a small way. I think some of you know that I sponsored and supported the youth advisor for 3 years while I could. We now have Rachel Fisher, who is the youth advisor, a wonderful lady. Linda made me part of that committee. I said, well, what can I do? She said, you can be there. Last week, I have to share this with you. We had our meeting, and I didn't say a word. Now, have you ever seen Kathy not saying a word? No, no, no. I sat there, and at the end of the meeting, Cantor was there. I said, I'm really sorry that I didn't say anything, but I said, I'm just getting over, I lost my voice nearly 2 weeks ago. And you know, I think it was Susan Brooks said to me very nicely, she said, we don't worry, Kathy, we know you. You absorbed every word we said. I said, yes, and thank you for understanding. No, that's okay. So, folks, like I said, if you're passionate about something, there is a way to do it. And I'm thankful that I have. I'm kind of waiting for another phone call asking me if I want to do another lifeline. Okay, yes, I'm sure they will. So like Carol said, they really do a lot, that Yes Fund, because that's what the Sisterhood is really busy with. WRJ does a heck of a lot of work. But we've got these, please pick up one, and I've also got, I'm sure you probably have them, it shows you where the money goes. And how often do you find that out when you're supporting something? Thank you for letting me sharing, and just thank you, and thank you, Rabbi. Give me a hug.
So Kathy, we know that everything that you do, you give your best to, and you really always are so energetic and so loving and so generous. And so the girls and I would like to share a special song of blessing for you. But why don't you go and sit in your seat, and that way you can see them instead of my big body blocking them. Because so this is actually one of the songs that our kids will be singing this weekend in San Diego. And it's a song that I think really embodies the way that Kathy and so many of you think when it comes to giving of yourselves to the temple, to the greater community, to the Jewish community. And so we offer this blessing for you, Kathy.
88 years old and living 2 doors down. In the alley I see Goldie every day. She picks through all the dumpsters, gives to others what she's found. Fills her rainbow bag with what we've thrown away. She says somebody could use this. It's practically brand new. It's just one of the things I like to do. I give the best, the sweetest part. I give the most straight from my heart. In all I say, in all I do, I give my best to you.
Somewhere east of Arkansas, the choir sings a song, and the people stand in solidarity. Their hearts are filled with music as they clap and sing along, all together in their joyful harmony. They set a fire, burn this place we love. So many close their eyes, but from the ashes we will rise
To give the best, the sweetest part. To give the most straight from our hearts. In all I say, in all we do, we give our best to you.
I remember praying as dear Kathy passed me by in her marathon of heart-filled life and prayer. From a crowd of hunchback Dovners, my friend Kathy caught my eye. And she prayed aloud and shouted out God's name. In that moment, life had changed, and suddenly I knew that standing on the sidelines just won't do. She'll give the best,
The sweetest part. She'll give the most straight from her heart. In all she says, in all she does, she'll give her best. Give her best. She'll give her best to you.
Mazel tov on this wonderful honor, Kathy. We love you.
Shabbat Shalom. Mazal Tov. Kathy, and I just want to thank you. You do sit on our youth committee, and you are awesome on it with the best suggestions, and I just want to thank you so much for all that you do for our youth here at Temple Bethel as well. And Moody Jews, thank you once again for such a delightful service. You are always awesome. It's my pleasure to be here this evening representing the Board of Directors. Many thanks to the Sisterhood and Shelley Zerkes for hosting our wonderful Onik Shabbat. The Sisterhood gift shop will be open only for the first 10 minutes after services, so do your shopping early. We have a lot of great activities coming up, and we hope to see you at many of them. The Sisterhood Garden Tour is this Sunday, April 22. For all the last-minute reservations or questions, please ask Sandy Picard directly. This is really important. Please mark your calendars. We will be having our congregational party in honor of Rabbi Chuck and Debbie Rowe on Saturday evening, June 2nd. The party will take place at Temple Bethel at 6 o'clock, and there will be more information coming. So I want to tell you how important this is. Carrie put this on this list twice. So as Rabbi says, I guess one is for him and one is for Debbie. And Friday, May 4, is Shabbat HaMorim, our teacher's Shabbat. It's a very special evening where we have the opportunity to thank our teachers for just working with our children and all that they teach them and where they bring them to this point. So please join us as we have the opportunity to do that. Service that night will include the youth choir and birthday blessings for children under 13. There's dinner that evening also, which if you make a reservation before, it is free, and if not, it's $5. So please do join us in Shabbat Shalom.
And just a reminder that even though I won't be here tomorrow because I'll be with our youth choir and teen choirs in San Diego, we do have our monthly meditation service with Pam Tarlow. So please join us and be a part of our incredible meditative group on Shabbat morning, on the third Shabbat morning of the month at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Oh, and 9:30. No, 10 o'clock. You're getting confused with next month's healing service. I know what you're doing.
And just one more announcement. This is actually some sad news which you'll hear about when we share your site and recent deaths. Some of you may know, but not everyone may know, that Beth Newberger passed away last Shabbat. She was sitting right here where Sharon is sitting and had a nice conversation. She hadn't seen her in a bit. She drove Irv home, had a nice conversation, had a conversation with her cousin, and then went to sleep last Friday night and didn't wake up. So our thoughts and prayers are certainly with our community here at Temple Bethel, who knew her and loved her, and her family, her sister in New Zealand, and cousins down in San Diego. Arrangements for her family they're private, however, for private burial and whatnot. However, the lay-led minyan, of which Babette was such an integral part, is going to be having some time to share words of tribute and memory and a sort of bit of a memorial service at their next lay-led minyan, which is on Saturday, May 11th or 12th. I forget whatever that Saturday is. Saturday, May 12th. At 9:30 for the lay-led minyan, so we'll remember her there, and then the family may be, they're working on having more of a larger memorial service, a celebration of life at some point in the future, but we're not exactly sure when it's going to happen, so we want to make sure that our community has that opportunity. The family has requested that we don't post things online for some other reasons, so a lot of this is going to be word of mouth, so try to share that information. You can talk to Irv to get more details about the service, so. We remember about that, certainly. So as we begin to conclude our service, I invite you to please stand for Aleinu, if you're able.
וגדול עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ובונים
There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. If you are here to say Kaddish for a loved one, when I recite that person's name, please stand and remain standing until all the names have been shared. And together we will recite Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. We're observing the first 7 days of mourning for David Dara, father of Vicky Paponi, father-in-law of Mark Kaiser. And of course, we remember our dear friend, Babette Newberger. We remember those who died of this season in years past, whose doors sight and fell during the week, and whom we remember by name tonight. Stephen Bernard and William Bernard. Albert Bernstein, Elias Bloomstein, Marcia Dunn, Marjorie Eder, Herman Finder, Sidney Friedman, Dorothy Gliboff, Lena Goldman, Jacob Gross, Rose Grossman, Panina Hauptman, Louise Iliff, Florence, Ronnie Kaufman, and Al Kornblith. Norman Kramer, Mark Landisman, Lena Lax, Ruth Lax, Molly Leach, Louis Lessner, Martin Liebling, Esther Ludvigsen, Philip Margolin, Estelle Mayer, Harold Monash, Rosalind Reese, Hyman Rogoff, Jack Rubenfeld, Harry Sachs, Herman Schmickler, Nancy Schneider, Jack Schwimmer, Ronald Snyder, Rosalind Trafansky, Fred Thies, Barbara Wecker, Michael Weitzman, and Norman Zinner. If you're remembering someone and I neglected to share the name aloud, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Please stand if you are able as we join together. Yitgadal v'yitchadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach v'yutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chai echon u'vyom echon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah merach le'olam lo'amei almaya, yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitva'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitradar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shebeit u'deshav richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiman v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'rama, u'yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom v'roma, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'roma, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. José calor que toca, Julia hace calor aleinu, ve'al Israel, ve'al Beit Tevel, ve'imru, amen. Shabbat shalom.